Welcome back to the Tuscan Urban Farmstead. Today is Decoupage Day, or originally it was going to be about fixing up that pot holder, and then it turned into so much more. So these are coasters. They are, just a second. This is a pack of coasters. I've had these since a long time. It's just like wood, compressed wood. And today, finally, I got the inspiration. So this is the back with that chalk color, urban gray, and this is the top. Well, I'm going to be covering the back as well with just a very slight coating, dabbing away of silver. So that's 6 of these being done. It gave me also the inspiration to be, hoopla, it also gave me the inspiration to be painting over these, and they look so much nicer. Oh, I gotta go do the bottom part. Well, I don't necessarily have to. So that looks so much nicer than before. And doesn't it remind you a bit, of those Wedgwood plates? And then this is, once again, that wallpaper I've been working with on the violin case. And just look at that. So it's not going to be any of these now. It's going to be this. So the top side is going to then be all covered in flatting so that it makes something really nice to look at. Whereas when you want to use it to put the pots on, you just flip it over to the other side. So yeah, oh, here's another thing I did. These are 2 candles. They're the candles that you put outside in the yard for mosquitoes. Now there were two different two different types of candles. So I just melted them all together in one, and these are going to be melted together in this other one. I already started, but I need to be doing it. I need to be redoing it. Like, they melted a little bit on the bottom, but I really got to pay more attention to this one. Simply by putting it into the boiling hot water and letting it sit there until it all melts out. And then I'll be pulling these parts out when it's all melted and be putting in the one wick. Now this one came a bit short, but that's all right. I'll put another one in here. So this is another part of the project I've been working on. Plus, I've been playing. This is simply a candy can, which is going to obviously be like, you can store any kind of food in here. It comes with candies. Just a second. Like this box full of candies. Here I got another one. Costs only 99 cents. So then you repurpose it and you clean it up and you upscale it somehow, like all of the rest here. And then you can either use it as little gift ideas or to be selling at the thrift store or whatever. So that's pretty much what I've been up to today after having been doing all of them. Oh yeah, and this is a patisserie box, this is like the little cardboard box that they use for packaging the the donuts and beignets and any cake-like thing. And I've been wanting to do this as well. I covered it all originally with a different type of wallpaper, but this one here, but I wasn't really liking the effect, and then suddenly, boom, this whole urban gray silver, and this all just like started coming out. And just look at, you can only begin to imagine how beautiful that's going to be. So, just give you another little run through. So I've selected very carefully the pieces. I cut them all out with, some pointy scissors. And so now we're just going to be doing the last little bit together of gluing it on in place. And then we'll be taking care of cleaning up the room, because I believe it's, how late is it now? Oh, it's already 8 p.m. So I've been working away as usual, and I just thought, uh-oh, you haven't been filming any of this, so let's just let people in on a bit of what it is you're doing, how you're doing it. So there's the first one. Maybe we want to cover up this hole, hey? So let's do it that way. Let's just cover the whole top of this with glue. Let's put the, actually I don't want to put it on the, right there on the hole, because I wouldn't like to destroy, to find the flower maybe poked and destroyed in the future. So here's the first one. It's kind of difficult perhaps to be finding the exact positioning for these flowers on here. I've got a lot of cutting out to be doing before I can move on and do the rest, but this is like, it's just inspiring me. And I really loathe those places, those people who only have one theme. It's fine if you go through a period of creating new series though. Like there's this one guy, he does a lot of really nice, I mean his art is beautiful. I can't say anything about that. It's just that he's invaded the whole Arno Valley with his art, selling it. Like it loses all its value if that's the only expression you have. It totally loses all its value. And the same with this kind of work. If you're constantly making only the same kind of thing and flooding the market, the local market, with only that, incapable of producing anything different, it really gets boring. So I really, like any thrift store I was going to, I just couldn't stand to see like, he's painting, beautiful painting, hey, but he's painting every single solitary kind of object all the same. And it's like when you have this whole place completely flooded with the exact same theme, like each thrift store in the area is flooded with the exact same theme. It's just like, oh my god, give me a break, let me get out of here, help, please, stop it, make it stop. So that is something that we want to watch out for when we're getting into our artistic moods for ourselves as well. At the same time, it's okay to hit a streak where you're doing everything the same, and you'll find very often that your inspiration pretty much works that way. That you do a whole bunch of series, same theme series for a while before you can actually Oh, cool. I actually like that I'm working like this because it's helping me to see how to better place this in such a way. Oh, there you go. Such a way where, there you go. Oh, that's cool. That's looking nice. It's looking pretty interesting. Okay, yes. What do you think of that, people? Do you like what you're seeing here? You like the way it's coming through, coming around? Oops. Problem is you gotta really keep your eye open for places where it doesn't seem to want to fit the picture. So there you go. I might be adding more stuff in later on as well. No, it's looking not exactly round. Here. I don't know if I should be putting anything in the middle here. There, maybe this needs to come out a little bit more. There. Perhaps like that. And like, let's see. Let's see. So that needs to be there pretty much. Okay, bring this further back. Okay. You want to make sure that you're keeping it moist. That it's alright, so it looks like I'm going to have to add something in right in the middle here to keep up the circle. Not necessarily, let's see, maybe we can break it free like that. Let me see. It's okay. Don't want to be too hard on the paper. If you're too hard on the paper, something's gonna break. See again. See the positioning, and it really does take quite a bit of unless you do this like really studied and you draw the lines and everything. I'm not that kind of, I'm not really that kind of super diligent in making sure everything looks exactly perfectly the same. Like drawing the lines, and I don't put too much effort into the planning, I must say. Never really was my cup of tea, so to speak. So there we go. I'm really liking the look of this right now, though. So there we go. So this looks pretty decent. Maybe it's a bit too too far out there on one side and too close in on the other. Let's see. So it's almost touching. Ooh, I didn't really cut that flower too nicely, did I? There we go. Oh, I see what it is. This one has the little conjunction, and here it's open. So what we're gonna do about that, let's just find a little piece that we can use to be, you see this is the green based one. Let's see, ta-ta, here we are. So I can steal that piece from here. There we go. Help yourself with any items and tools you can make up on the go. There you go. Doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. Ta-ta! Shall we put a little flower in the center? Would that be nice? I'm thinking it might, but then I wouldn't want to exaggerate it too much. Let's see. I thought I had one floating around somewhere. Let us see. I thought I had an individual little white one floating around. Blue? No. We don't like blue. Oh, here we go. Let's just do it this way. Cut that piece off. No, I really don't like the blue. So we always coat the back. Remember that this kind of paper is pretty thick. It's double. It's actually two pieces of paper pressed together and embossed as well. So you really want to make sure that you get it really wet so that it absorbs everything. This wallpaper in particular. And there, I found another few kinds of wallpaper which are not as intricate, so to speak. We could add something more to it if we wanted to, but actually I really like to keep it more on the simple side. Perhaps we'll look at it tomorrow once it's dried out and see if maybe we should be adding anything else, like maybe, I don't know, anything like extra leaves in there or something. We will see. We'll decide on that tomorrow. I'm thinking for these, at this point this is probably going to become a one whole set, and at this point probably this is no longer going to be your regular pot holder, but it's probably going to be a, I don't know, for serving coffee and tea, so forth. You really need to press down on it. Now, slowly as it's drying off, I'm going to come back to this time and again and be pressing down on everything to make sure that it sticks to the surface properly instead of turning upwards, bulging, and everything. I'm thinking here, oh, that could be an idea. We could have these, but probably going the other direction. There's obviously more than one direction for the same flower, so perhaps this one we can be putting it around that way. Maybe just simply here in the middle. Something of the sort like that. We shall see. Like, you want to build your constructions like this slowly so you can really see. First you position it over on the dry thing, on the dry surface, come up with an idea. Because once you've glued it on, you're gonna have a really hard time modifying it. So yeah, no, I'm thinking not this. No. Let's go with the Wedgwood inspiration here, which really suits me so much. I've always loved the Wedgwood. At the same time, there's always something missing. There's something about those Wedgwood plates that's missing in my opinion. Like for me, for my personal taste. So although I really love them, at the same time I never can really bring myself to be like choosing them. Whereas this, probably it is the silver finish that is missing for myself. So yeah, anyhow, what we got to do now with these is take care of, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe I should not be adding the silver underneath. Nah, let's make it class. Let's be kitsch. So the way I do it is I'll simply get this very wet. Very wet. Just dab it all across the surface. There you go, messing up. There you go, and move on to the next one. I'm dabbing it because I don't want to leave the streaks of the paintbrush. At the same time, I'm not too into the idea of, you know, initially I was thinking it would be cool if it looks a little bit kind of like a surface of the moon. But it's like, nah, don't get too elaborate, don't get too, you know, cool. Like whatever. Yeah, someone outside. Here we go again. Another little bit. It's like I started out with a gazillion different projects, and here they all came together into one big project. Well, one mono-themed project, which I actually do like because, you know, some people, they like to have everything completely different and really mix and match everything. Me, no, I'm more like, I prefer to have sets which work together, which have a meaning. Now, I'm not necessarily going to be creating all of these all the same. They might differ between each other. Whereas the main theme has got to be the same. But then you never know. Like, I always start out with one idea and then at the end it comes out completely different from what I had initially started out thinking. Which is cool. It's what makes it so interesting. It's what makes it fun. If I was gonna be a factory worker, I'd be working in a factory. Gosh, which reminds me, way back in the day, my then husband never was a very responsible person to begin with. He was expecting me, well, after all, it was his parents who were like that. He was expecting me to go lock myself up in some kind of factory and provide all of the necessities of the family. Well, I don't know what he was going to be doing. I really don't know. No wonder our marriage didn't last at all. Like, he got married. 9 months later, I kicked him out. Well, no, wait a minute. Longer than that. It did take longer than that. Well, no, the only reason I kicked him out was he was being violent with me. That was the main reason. If he hadn't been such a violent person, hadn't become so violent, then later down the line, I realized, like these last years, I've come to understand that a lot of his violence was also due to the fact that he had pre-diabetes, or maybe he had undiagnosed diabetes. Anyhow, first thing in the morning, he always had to fight. Had this huge fight, like silly stuff, because he couldn't find his shoes for going to work. He didn't want to go to work. In fact, his dad would always make fun of him. His dad was always making fun of the fact that he had round shoulders. Round shoulders, I believe it's Sicilians, but I'm not too sure. Round shoulders means you don't like to work. Square shoulders mean you're a heavy worker. Well, that would be the phrenology. Well, you can't, it's not phrenology, though, not the proper word. But anyhow. So if I was going to become a factory worker, I can't work in a factory. I am fantastic at what I do because I learn the basics and then I become creative. And my becoming creative can happen much quicker than most people than for most people. I'll look at something, I'll instinctively understand the underlying principle of it. Not always, but when I do, if I start taking the liberty of changing something, of putting my own spin on something, it's because I've mastered the basic. And you really don't need too long to master the basic, especially in certain types of jobs. So I can do monotonous jobs as long as I have freedom of expression, which means as long as I can change the way I approach that monotony. Like as a kid, we were a massive family. I mean, it was almost always at least 7 of us. Well, at least 4 to 5 of us at the table. But normally it was 7, 8, 9, all the way up to all the way up to 14, 20, and more. So that being the case, we all had our scheduled. I was in charge of the schedule, Every month I had to sit down and make plans for the upcoming month. Who would be in charge of what? Who would take care of cleaning the bathroom? Who would clean upstairs? Bathroom and bathroom and hallway upstairs. Bathroom and hallway downstairs. Living room, kitchen, dining room, laundry, and gardens. Am I missing anyone? No. Then of course we all had to take care of our own bedrooms, which was two. They were, well, that would depend on who was sharing what room with who. And then we also had to be taking turns preparing meals. And so that was divided in, like, all around the week. Who would prepare the breakfast? Who would prepare the lunch? Who would prepare the dinner? Who would set the table? Not every day the same person. Who would clear off the table? Like everyone had to clear off their part of the table, bring their own plate and cutlery and glass to the kitchen. One person would be washing the dishes, and one person would be drying them off. And that's how we got all the chores of the house done, keeping it pretty much spick and span until we were old enough to rebel against the tyranny wonderful memories. If you cannot laugh about your childhood memories, if you cannot laugh about even the ugly times, you have a problem. You're the one with the problem. When you can reminisce about the good, the bad, and the ugly, the fun, the not so fun, and not get all riddled with feelings of anger and or shame. Well, sometimes it's good to have some degree of shame, but really not allow for any of that to be like when you've overcome those kind of things. Now, off and on, you're gonna have moments where you're gonna be really upset about stuff you thought, oh, I've already worked through this. But when ugly memories come up for you, that stuff you've already worked through, it's not so much, it's because there's always more than one side, more than one aspect connected to that very same story. Don't you dare break off. If you do break off, I'm going to put you back where you belong. So when that happens, instead of stifling it or getting all upset and going, oh my God, I thought I had worked through this. Oh no, this is coming up again. It's not the same part of it that's coming up again. Listen to it. Understand it. You know, the best closure you're going to get is the closure with yourself. That's the most important closure. And you've got to make sure that that closure that you are getting with yourself is honest. Is rooted in honesty. Sometimes rooting it in honesty is really, it's shocking, and sometimes it takes longer than you would want it to, because let's face it, we are not good. We are never the great people we think we are. The mere fact that you're thinking that you're a great person should alarm you. You can always do better. Like, life is an ongoing journey of doing better, becoming better, and falling short and picking yourself up again, and that's what it's about. So when you can do that kind of self-work with yourself, don't do it to convince anyone else. If they wanted to see any good in you, they would. If they wanted to cut you any slack, they would. They don't want to because they cannot be honest with themselves, so they need someone it's okay to hurt, as Jordan Peterson points out. So there we go. I'm going to be letting this one dry off again. And I'm so proud of me. I just love this. I just love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. These are the joys of life, people. Being able to do these little things and, you know, yeah. The thing about this is I'm going to have to find something to be gluing on in the inside as well. Now that's paper, scotch, paper tape for covering the sides. I'm going to have to be finding, deciding what to use on the inside of this box. And I'm thinking I maybe perhaps have found the right match. This, I really like what this looks like. So I'm thinking the inside. Isn't it nice when you open a box and the inside is even more beautiful than the outside? I find that lovely. It's the way we should be as humans. Much nicer on the inside than what we look like on the outside. And instead, everyone focuses on the outside and not much on the inside. And that's where you have sisters hating on each other so much that they have to compete to destroy the sister they're jealous of. And then, of course, they will say, there's no way I'm jealous of you. Oh, no? Really? If you didn't think I was such an authority, dear little sister, if you didn't think I was such an amazing person, you wouldn't use whatever horrible thing it was I said about you to justify your being such a horrible person yourself. You wouldn't accept for your older sister having said to you when both of you were little kids, you wouldn't have made her saying you're a demon into your reality and said, yeah, I become a demon because you always said I was a demon. You would have proved me wrong instead of gone along with it. And now using it as your excuse for all of the despicable stuff you're doing and saying. Okay, now I'm talking like this. Clearly what I'm saying has something to do with my life. I'm actually thinking of a person. I'm actually thinking right now of a person of a character in one of my favorite Chinese TV dramas. Yes, I'm watching so many of those. That's my way of learning Chinese. There you go. So anyhow, I'm thinking of this one character which is spot on resembles one of my siblings. Exact same treacherous, angry, just that this person is saying it out loud instead of pretending to be a good person, which is interesting. Very, very interesting. Treachery. Real treachery is not saying, hey, you got to become a better person. Treachery is not saying harmful, hurtful truths. It's hurtful because growing is painful. Treachery is setting someone up for failure. It takes more courage to tell someone a difficult truth, a painful truth. It takes more courage to tell someone a painful truth than it does. It takes integrity to be that kind of person. It takes loyalty. It takes loyalty. Telling someone, oh, you sing so well, when in fact they don't. It's not only disloyal. It's hateful. So anyhow, enough with the life lessons I'm musing over as I'm doing all of my little work. I'm just so excited about this project. I'm just so excited. So much interesting little things to be doing. So much fun. I mean, I can just see this. Oh my God! This is going to be fantastic! I wasn't too sure of how it was going to be. I didn't like the way these piggy banks were looking. I was like, how am I going to do this? And then this whole thing just like exploded today. So right now I shall shut up. I shall zip it. Start playing. Cut out the little pieces. Like this could be an idea, for example. Oh, isn't that cute? Anyhow, I will get around to be cutting out the various little pieces to be putting on. No, this one, no. This super blue, nah. Maybe on this, but no. I shall see. So I just wanted to let you see. Maybe we will see once this is dried out. Once this is dried out, we will see how else to, if to add anything else on. Maybe along here, you see where there's the, like, because of the design. Where is a bigger one? Here it is. Because of the way this is made, there's parts where you have to absolutely cut the, my words are failing me again. Anyhow, these parts where I had to cut stuff off, so maybe I'll be adding on something to make that look nicer. I don't know yet. We shall see. Something along here. We'll have a look at what else we can add to make it up. Make that look nicer. And yeah. So that's all from the Tuscan Urban Farmstead for now. And have a great evening, y'all. Ciao, ciao.